Testing. Good evening, everyone. It is your friend, your boy, your pal, Curtis Ray Hill here, and I am excited about tonight's live. Yes, I am. I need you to do me a favor if you can. Share this live. Share this live with people who might need it. I see my backlights are on. It's okay. Share this live with people who might need it. Today, we're talking about getting your teen back. Getting your teen back. That's what these lives are about. It's about the people who want to reconnect with their teen and for those parents who want to stay connected with their teens. And let's just talk about it for what it is. Who am I? My name is Curtis Ray Hill, and I like to call myself a recovering educator. I did about 15 years hard time in the classroom, Chicago Public Schools. Now I am an international speaker talking about creating a culture of belonging. That's my trademark. I'm a published author, Youth Matters, America's Most Wanted is Today's Youth, Managing the Chaos of Teaching and Creating a Culture of Belonging that Unlocks Human Potential. All of those are my book titles. So I travel the country speaking to organizations like State Farm, Pfizer, Southwest, BP, Hallmark, Crayola, just to name a few, the NCAA. I travel. I train Fortune 50 leaders. I train organizations, non for profits. I train educators. Right here in this picture, you'll see me training them. In this video, 1,000 educators on how to create a culture of belonging. Same thing that I used in the classroom as a Chicago public school teacher to turn students who were disconnected and students who fell below the poverty line, students who were 5, 6 years below in reading. I used the same system to help them reconnect to their parents, reconnect to school, reconnect to adults in their lives. And so, travel the country, travel the globe, teaching these same strategies and principles all over. And I've decided to bring them back where it started. Now, I'm a father of six. That's right, 6 kids. 6 kids. My youngest is 19. Maybe one day next week, I'll get my youngest, maybe I'll get a couple of my children to join me on the live because uh, seeing is believing. We're still connected. My 19-year-old, we're connected. The ones who are above him, they're about 10, 12 years above him. They're twin boys. We're connected. My daughter above the twins are connected. My daughter above that daughter connected. A daughter above that daughter. Above that daughter. We're connected. And it hasn't been easy all of the time. Have my children wanted to stop talking to me? Yes. One or two of them may have tried. But I have systems, I have strategies, I have tools, I have techniques that help me win my children back, that help me win my students back. And yesterday we talked about 3 questions that I get often from parents. And I ended yesterday's live talking about that one daily practice or maybe that one conversation. And so today we're going to delve into that. If you have any questions, if you have any comments, just leave them and I'll answer them in one of these lives, if not tonight's live. Please share this because what I do know is there are hundreds, thousands, tens of thousands of parents, grandparents, head of households, legal guardians who have lost connections with their teens. And so, what we want to do is we want to make sure that our people, our teens, are connected in a way that they feel good about themselves, that they know that they're noticed, named, known, and needed within your house. Let me give that to you again. Noticed, named, known, and needed in your house. That's what's important. They have to be they have to be noticed, named, known, and needed in your house for them to feel fulfilled, for them to understand that they belong inside of your house. Back in the day when we were growing up, we didn't have so many things that we had to contend with. Our children today, by the time they turn 13, they have to contend with way more than we've ever had to contend with when we were their ages. They have the world in the palm of their hands. It's called a cell phone. You know, you used to have a landline. Now they can face someone on the opposite side of the globe. You know, you used to type. They can speak their whole lesson into a phone now. Everything has changed. And so our approach to parenting teens should change right along with that. So before I go any further, let us delve into this daily principle that we're going to talk about today. Uh, so one second. What happened to my question? Here it is. There it is. The one consistent practice is a 5 minute practice. This is a one. This is the 5 minute practice. Now, when I was teaching, the way that I was able to connect with students happened before the day ever started. Just picture this: it's day one of a new school year. Day one of the new school year. I never allow students to come in to greet them. No, no, no. I went out to where they were. They were the most important people that I had to meet that day. It wasn't the administrator, it wasn't the other teachers, my coworkers. It was the students who were coming to my classroom. I went out to meet them, not to spy on them, but to notice them. I call it the first 5 minute practice because whatever you do in your first 5 minutes with a teen, it's what they're going to remember the rest of the day. Let me run that back to you. Whatever you do with the first 5 minutes of your teen's day, it's what they're going to remember for the rest of the day. It will set the tone for how their day is going to unfold. So if it's met with aggression, they're going to be aggressive that day. If it's met with passion, they're going to be passionate that day. If it's met with love, they're going to be lovable that day. So it's the first 5 minute practice. How are you interacting with your team within the first 5 minutes of them waking up, within the first 5 minutes of them coming home from school? Whatever 5 minutes you choose, just think about it. It's going to set the tone for that relationship that day, that evening, because you may not see them until evening. You might be at work when they go to school. So you may not see them that evening. So I don't want you to think it's the first 5 minutes of the day and you're not there and you've missed it. You haven't missed it. Your time is coming. And so what do? Well, the first thing, when they walk through the door, no questions, no agenda, just good to see you. That's it. We don't have to have a big, long conversation. No, no questions, no agenda. Good to see you. This this is going to remove some weight within your first 5 minutes with your team. Think about it. If it's in the morning when they come down for breakfast or come into the kitchen for breakfast, no questions, no agenda. Good morning. Good to see you. If your first 5 minutes is when they come home from school, no questions, no agenda, they walk through the door. Good afternoon. Good to see you. We don't even go into how was your day? Not right here. Not right now. Allow space for them to decompress. No agenda, no questions. How was your day? That is it. Then the next thing we want to do, after we do that and we give them a little space and a little time to breathe, we want to give one genuine acknowledgement about who they are. Not what they did, who they are. Who they are. Acknowledge them. Um, I notice that you're the kind of person who always like to see that other people's needs are met. That's a genuine acknowledgement about who they are as a human, not what they do. Here's an acknowledgement about what they do. I seen you wash the dishes, or you didn't take out the trash, or do you have any homework, or how was school? All of that is about what they did, what they're going to do, not about who they are. And so we want to give a genuine acknowledgement about who they are as a human being, the contributions that only they can make. This will begin to shift the tone throughout the day. I got a thumbs up. Okay. If you have any comments, just type your comments. I'm going to try to read them as I go. And I keep looking down because over here, bam, is where I push so that you can see that. The right moment is almost never scheduled. It happens in a car, it can happen at 11 p.m. or during a commercial. When you keep waiting for the right moment to do this, it's never going to happen. Don't look for fireworks. Don't look for a break in a conversation. Let this happen and unfold naturally. Don't schedule it. I'm going to do it uh, right now, or I'm going to do it 5 minutes from now. Well, when we wait on the schedule for it to happen, most of the time it won't happen. There will be moments, there will be breaks, there will be times to decompress, and you'll feel it. And that's when you should do it. That's the right moment. That's the time when you say, hey, I notice you like seeing about other people. You're giving that genuine acknowledgement of who they are. Don't look for a certain time. Don't look for a certain day. Don't wait for the sun to shine. Don't wait for the weather to break. Just do it. Okay? So those were the three. Now, the next thing that I want to talk about, the right conversation is not one you plan, it's the one you're ready for. Here's the deal right here. We can write out our conversations, the things that we want to say to our teams. But you've had time to think about that. You've had time to process that. Think about this. My wife and I, we've been married 22 years. I like to say 22 for me and 42 or 44 for her because it's hard living with me. But anyway, that goes without saying. We've been married 22. When my wife says these words to me, we need to talk, I automatically go into defense mode. I do. When my wife says we need to talk, it means that she's taking time to go through her mind, to analyze and figure out what she wants to talk about. She'll come to me and say, we need to talk. And she's ready to have a conversation. Well, the tables are not set right. She may have been thinking about this for a day. She may have been thinking about it for a week. She may have been thinking about it for an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours. But then you come to me with no thinking time, no processing time, and say, we need to talk. Demand, or at least wait on me to say something. Give me the same amount of time it took you to come up with this, to process this, and get back to you. That's what happens with our teams. We've written out our conversations, we've planned what we wanted to say, and then we stand there and we demand that they talk to us. No time to decompress, no time to process, just a conversation. But here's what I want you to understand. When you do that, you might not be ready for the answers that are going, or the words that are going to come out of their mouths. Okay? So, what do? The right moment is always never scheduled. Once again, have you noticed that yesterday I put this in there, I put something in there twice, and today I put something in there twice. Why? Because this is important. You're waiting on that moment. You're waiting on the time. And it may not be the right time. It may never be the right moment. What happens if it's in the car? What happens if it's during a commercial? What happens if they interrupt your program, your favorite TV show, because they're having a moment? Do you push that off because the time ain't right? No, you have it anyway. Okay? Your job is not to plan the conversation. Your job is to stay ready. Someone said it this way: if you stay ready, you don't have to get ready. What I want you to do from this day forward is I want you to think about the worst thing your teen could ever tell you. I don't know what that is for you. I don't know what it is for you. I want you to think about if your teen came to you and said the worst thing imaginable to you. Let me give you some examples, and don't hold me to this. Uh, if you have, uh, that's the truth. Timing is important. Look at that. Yeah, timing is important. But just think about this. What if you had a daughter and the worst thing your teen daughter could come to you and say was she was pregnant? Or what if she came to you and said she was on drugs? Or what if your son came to you and said he got a girl pregnant or he was on drugs? Whatever, I just use those as examples. But what if your teen came to you with the worst possible news you thought that they could have? Huh? What would you do? What would you say if they came to you? I want you to think about that, because if you can start planning your response, the look that's going to happen on your face to prepare you when they come to you with news you're not ready for, when they come to you with news that may be a little bit sensitive, you could have your poker face on. You could have your game face on. You could, and you can listen, and you can be present, and you can be ready for whatever conversation rolls out of their mouths. That's when they'll start coming to you with more things. Okay? So stay ready, and you don't have to get ready. The next thing that I want you to do, when they crack the door open even slightly, don't flinch. Don't preach. Don't preach. That's hard. Just stay there. Just stay in that moment. Remember, I just talked to you about getting your poker face on and keeping your, don't you flinch. Don't you, I told you so. Uh-uh. Just stay there. Because I've already given you the tool. I've already given you the practice of thinking about the worst thing your teen can say to you. Just think about that. The worst thing they could say to you. If you think about that, just, you've had practice. Sit in that moment. You sit there. Okay? That's all you have to do. And let them guide the conversation without judgment, without you butting in saying, when I was your age, or that happened to me. Don't make the conversation about you. Don't do that. Because when you do, you strip them of the power of the moment. And remember, it's their moment. Okay? The next one. The conversation that changed everything is shorter than you think. I know when you want to reconnect or stay connected with your team, you want these long, drawn out conversations, especially if you haven't been connected in, say, a week or 2 weeks, a month, a year, 2 years. You just think that we're supposed to sit down and talk for 3 hours. Ooh, that's just going to make you feel so good. That's going to make you feel so good. It won't make the team feel better. Sometimes that reconnection conversation happens in 60 seconds. Sometimes it happens in 2 minutes, 3 minutes, 4 minutes, 5 minutes. When you put a time limit on it, you fail yourself because you most likely won't get to the time you were seeking. So if you sit down and say this reconnection conversation is going to take an hour and it only takes 30 minutes, why stretch it another 30 minutes when you got the objective you were looking for in 30? Okay? So it may be shorter than you think. Now, what I want you to know is this is not a family meeting. It's one sentence said at the right time and at the right moment. One sentence. You don't have to call a huddle. You don't have to call an intervention. No, you don't have to do any of those things. I see I forgot my eye, but it's okay. It's not a family meeting. It's not a huddle. It could be one sentence. It could be, um, I don't need you to tell me anything. I just didn't want you to be in here alone. That's it. If your team was struggling with something, they came home from school, they had a bad day, or it was a lot of pressure, they were struggling with identity issues or struggling with peer pressure, and when they came in, you didn't decompress, you didn't unload, you didn't download on them. Good to see you. Gave that space some time to breathe. They went to their room. You gave them a genuine acknowledgement about themselves on their way to the room. And you notice they stayed in there longer than anticipated. You could tell their anger. You could tell they're upset. What if you knocked on the door? If you have a closed door policy in your house. When my kids were teen, I'm old school. We didn't have a closed door policy. Now that my youngest is 19, that door closed all the time because my parenting style changed over time. Okay, but what if you went in and said, "Hey, you don't have to tell me anything. I just didn't want you to be in here alone." And you sat there. Let that weight sit on you. Allowing that weight to sit on them by themselves. That's hard for a teen to process. But if you just show up, you don't push them. You don't ask them a feeling question. We talked about that yesterday. How are you feeling? That's hard for them to process because you're asking them to put words on an emotion they haven't fully processed yet. Okay? So no feeling questions. Sit there. Just sit there. And then, what do you what don't I know about you that you wish I did? Now, if you sit there genuinely with no agenda, that conversation opens doors. What do you want me to know about you that I don't, that you wish that I did? Listen, people, parents, grandparents, heads of households, legal guardians, teachers, mentors. This is for anyone who wants to reconnect with the team. I want you to know this, and I'm bringing myself back up top. I want you to know this. You got to be prepared for this. You got to be prepared for this. Open-ended questions, yeah, but you got to be prepared for it. When you ask them, what's something about you that I don't know, but you wish that I did? You got to be prepared for this because you may not be ready for what they're about to say. You may not appreciate what they're about to say. Now, I'm not bringing any type of politics or religion into this, but you better be prepared for whatever this team says, and you better keep your game face on because your response will determine whether or not they bring something else to you. Your response will tell them whether or not they can trust you. Your response will tell them whether or not they can be safe and honest around you. Because if you respond the wrong way, they find out that being honest with you causes more problems than solutions, and they won't be honest around you. They'll be the version of themselves that they can be around you without raising any eyebrows or red flags. But what you should prefer is the whole team. The one that can come to you and tell you anything. The one that can come to you and know, hey, this is a difficult conversation, but I trust you with it. Because what I want you to understand is they're taking these difficult conversations to somebody. When I was teaching, I was a lot of those somebodies every single day. They would tell me things they wouldn't tell their parents. They would tell me things and ask me to tell their parents because I didn't judge them. The consequences, the stakes were different. So, what I want you to understand is they're having these conversations. They are. They may not be having them with you. They may not be having them with you. And what you want to stay away from, what you don't want to do, is you don't want them to have these conversations and you not be a part of those conversations. Because if you're not a part of those conversations, it means that they don't trust you with their emotions. They don't trust you with their true identity. They don't trust that they can be who they are and you will be all right with that. Well, ladies and gentlemen, parents, grandparents, guardians, heads of households, teachers, mentors, and anyone else who want to stay connected or reconnect with the team, this is your friend, your boy, your pal, Curtis Ray Hill. And I'll be here tomorrow. What time? I don't know. But I'll be here for the next 7 to 10 days going live. Now, if you're watching live, let me know. If you're watching a replay, when you watch it, just put in there replay. But here's what I want you to understand. I did 20 years hard time in a CPS classroom with teenagers who resemble the one sitting in your house, the one at your table, the one you buy clothes for, the ones you feed. I spent time with them. I understand their psychology. So, what I want you to do is tune in, and I'll drop tips, hints, and strategies that will help you reconnect or stay connected to your team. Until I see you tomorrow, peace. And we're out.